Of the dark? No, I don't think so. The only thing that bothers me right now is the fact that this light's shining in my eyes so that you can see what's going on. Anyway, hey y'all, how you doing? Instinct Survivalist here, coming to you with another 2-Tip Tuesday. This time we'll be talking about camp lighting and mobile lighting and the benefits of both, and why we would want to use one over the other, or why we would use them in conjunction. Now the time change has actually made this real well, so it's barely 6:30 and it's dark. Not pitch black yet, you can still see a little blue in the sky, but it's a perfect timing for that. So what I want to focus on first, I want to focus on camp lighting, and one of the things to do in that is when we're looking at camp lighting as a whole, it may be that we're looking at campfire, looking for a campfire and heading in that direction. Now that's a great way to do that, but you may not be running a campfire, weather may have put it out, something of that nature. Or hey, you were gathering wood, now it's dark, and now what, right? So one thing to look at is maybe using a lantern, maybe using a candle. And then in that, I want to talk to you about another little trick a buddy of mine uses from Georgia Bushcraft, JT. What he uses is actually glow sticks and ties them to his ridgeline for his hammock so that he can find that in the middle of the night. Good stuff. So we'll use both of those examples, and then what we're going to do is we're going to focus on mobile lighting and how do we get to that spot if we can't see the lighting that's already happening. We know maybe a general direction, we know maybe based off of our compass which way to go, but what are we looking at overall is that mobile lighting. And you can see I've got one on top of my head and I've got one in my hand, and we'll talk about the differences between the two. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Let's focus on the camp lighting first, then we'll get into the mobile lighting itself. Okay guys, so what you're looking at, or what I'm pointing out to you rather, is we're looking at you see how it's going away and coming back. That's actually a candle lantern that I've got set up at camp, and where I am is I'm about 50, we'll say 30 yards away from that. Now one other spot to look for, and I'll bring it up a little bit closer and we'll adjust the camera so that you can see that, so you can see that one. Let's look a little bit to the side. Look real close, you can see a faint blue off in the distance. Now that blue, yeah, I got it zoomed in the best I can, and you should just see a faint blue in there, but that blue is actually what we would call a ridgeline marker or a trail marker or fill in the blank, and so we'll start looking at some of that. So as we walk closer to that, what we're going to do is focus on those two things. Now there's ways to make the candle on the the candle on the right brighter, and there's ways to see that blue a little bit better. It could be timing, could be time of day, could be a different color, and so we'll focus on those. So as we go closer to these, you see me walking, just kind of bringing it to you, and I'll zoom out so that you can see about what we're looking at as far as distance goes. There we go. And you can also see that blue one coming into view a little bit more on the left hand side, so you see it over there. Now this is the candle lantern, and for those of you that know, you've seen the UCO review that I've done. This is the actual candle lantern, the single or the solo, not the Candelera or the and I forget what the exact name is, but it's the one with 3. So that's what that one is just the candelier. In looking at this, the reason that we have that there is so that it does become a marker. And overall, when we deal with this, there's one way to actually make it brighter. Now this one comes with a shield. This one, the glass needs cleaning. That would be number one, is does the glass need cleaning? Can it be brighter that way? The other is if we use a beeswax candle, it'll also bring it into a lighter method. Now, again, this is just using a candle. The other side, literally, is we go over here to this blue. Now, you do see the blue, it's kind of faint. It's a glow stick that I have hanging in the tree. And again, when I don't run into a stump with the tripod, the blue is actually hanging in a tree, and the reason for that is because we want to make sure we're able to come in and see where we're going, or again, based on night, want to be able to see it in and from a distance. Now the reason that you would use a fainter one like the blue is because I might not want it to be quite as visible to everyone. I just want it to be visible to myself. In doing so, what we do is we use that blue. Now again, another way to get things brighter, if you will, is to use a yellow, you may want to use a red. I prefer the yellow or the greens because they're a little brighter. If I'm trying to market and want to be seen, don't care if I need to be seen. But if we're doing it in a stealth operation, then of course we would make it darker, right? We want to keep it the dark blue just barely visible. All right, now those two are for camp, so that you can go in and find camp, be able to find out where you're looking, where you're going, what you're doing overall. And one thing I do love about this one right here is the fact that it gives that nice little firelight, right? I see shadows flickering on the ground. It just gives it that nice warm ambiance. So it's up to you. That's probably the biggest word I'll ever use in these things is ambiance. Ask me what it means, I don't know. We'll just say atmosphere. Anyway, so let's take and change gears, if you will. And in doing so, I'm actually bringing up a bigger light, and we'll talk about some of the other things or other lighting methods. There we go. So now we have this one we'll start focusing on. In this one, there's a couple of different things to focus on, or what we'll be focusing on. And one is my flashlight and one's my headlamp. Now, why would I use one versus the other? Well, number one, cost, right? So if we look at this War Light, it's one I got from Mastery of Survival, Warrior Tribe, and I pay shipping and handling, and it puts out a good bit of light. Now, in doing so, and I'll put it up behind me, you can see I can actually take and adjust that. That adjustment becomes very beneficial when we look at what else it can be used for, how it can be used for. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, guys. I am so sorry. It's dark, I can't see what angle the camera's sitting at. So the angle with this camera, the angle with this lamp, if you will, or light, if you will, I can actually adjust it based off of pulling the shield or the shroud around the light itself. And so you can see that it's pretty bright. You can see the difference between it and the big light that I've got shining. We'll talk about that one in a moment. Why would I use this one? Well, this one actually has 3 different methods and modes, if you will, but it has this right here. That little clip is not just a pocket clip, but if need be, I can clip it to something. Now, if I clip it this way, it's going to clip onto my head and shine in my face, right? Don't want to do that, but I can spin it around, kind of put it off to the side, if you will, and then kind of going off to the side of things to see what's going on. Okay, so definitely can do that. Not exactly what I want to do, which is why you enter the headlight, right? Enter the headlight and allows me to do it a little differently. The headlamp allows me to go in and put it on, and certainly go in and adjust based off of what I need to do. Now, the one thing I like about the headlamp specifically, and I'm using a ThruNite for those of you that care, I think it's a TH20. The reason I use that is because you do have the adjustable light modes, right? It goes up, it goes down, it gets high, it gets low, everything happens, and then it also has the little night vision, if you will, which allows me to go in and click on that. So that's kind of where we're at, is being able to find your location at night. So I've got the glow stick, I've got the candle lantern, both of them I can see from anywhere in my base camp, if you will, across the yard, across the area. I can find those different ones. To get to there, let's say that hey, it's behind a tree, I can't see anything, I would use these. I would use the War Light as an example, or my headlamp as another example, to get me to where I could see. And it may be that I'm using those in conjunction. That's why I said at the beginning is being able to use them in conjunction to find my way where I'm located, where I'm trying to get to, again, my base camp. If I want to do secret or stealth, of course I'm going to use the darker colors. If I don't really care, I'm going to use the lighter colors. And it may be that I do keep that candle lantern going at night when I'm trying to find my ridge line or find my base camp when I'm out camping. Again, if I was stealthy, I put it in with a darker, or I wouldn't use one at all, and I would only use the headlamp and or in this case the War Light. Now, one last thing about this is, and this is one we did and I dealt with family camping, is being able to use something like this. Now, I'm going to shine it just briefly at the camera. Keep in mind, guys, it is bright. All right, it's one LED, but it's a very bright LED, and you can kind of see just where we're looking at from darkness to daylight. But in looking at that, this is actually what we set up at the camp. We used in conjunction this one for portability, and we used the propane lamp for the cooking and things of that nature. But when it came down to it and we needed to put one inside of one of the big tents, then we used this one just because it gave us that flexibility. In looking for a light, I'm not going to give you a specific brand or anything. The only one that I truly support and you know, thumbs up on is UCO, simply for the fact of I've dealt with them for many years. I've had that one for many years. I have the 3 candle, works great. So that one I do recommend from one perspective, okay? And I have not used any of their LEDs. I have not used anything other than the candle lanterns. This is a Loftek. One of the things you want to look for overall, and that's why I say I don't want to stick to one brand, is if you're looking for something that is battery operated, you might want to get one that's rechargeable. Up to you, right? Me, I've kind of standardized based off of another buddy of mine, standardized on AA batteries. One single AA battery for this one single AA battery for my through night. Good to go, right? That's the way it goes. But what I look for is the adjustable brightness, that being one thing, and the ability to have a stealth mode, which is why I chose this one from through night. And then the other one is signaling. So if we go here, you can see, I don't know if you can see it here. You can see how it's going in and give you the strobe effect. If I'm going to use that in conjunction with a handgun, and you start looking at some of the variances, right? The other side of it is if I take this Loftek, it also has an SOS feature function just by doing the different colors. So that's where you start looking at some of the different flexibilities, is being able to have the adjustable light sources if you're going from a battery operated, right? Having that functionality. So that's it, guys, just kind of in a nutshell. Not a very long one, but long enough to describe some things. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you continue following and liking and subscribing and doing all the stuff that y'all do. Thank you for making it very successful. I appreciate all you do. Hey, don't forget to give likes and thumbs up if you will. And for those of you that haven't subscribed, please do. Not begging, just, hey, would love to give you the notification to do so. So until then, use your instincts to survive. Thanks for watching.